Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and if you're a rock bass player looking to improve your musical ear, make sure you check out this lesson all the way to the end, because I'm going to show you a device which is really going to help you find all the right notes on the bass guitar. Please check this lesson out, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and today I want to talk about how to improve your musical ear, but on a really practical level. One thing I see time and time again with my students in the Bass Lab Plus is they get really freaked out, or they can do, when they have to hear chord sequences on the fly. They're thrown in at the deep end on a jam session or in their praise and worship team on with a song that they haven't heard before, straight in, no music, and they kind of freeze. And I've experienced this one myself. It's a really common thing. It can be super scary. But the reality is, when you start to understand a few concepts, you can intrinsically start to know what chords that you need to play. And that's the really important thing. But before we dive into the lesson, I just want to let you know that there are free PDF lesson notes that you can grab from the description below. So if you enjoy the content that we're talking about today, make sure you discover more by clicking the link in the description and getting the lesson notes sent to your inbox. So one of the things that really freaks musicians out, as I said, is hearing chord sequences on the fly. And they often feel that they just need to be able to hear things like some kind of voodoo magic, and they're picking notes out of the sky and should be able to instantly find them on the bass. The reality is it's actually not quite like that. And I believe really good ear training is a combination of three things. The first thing is traditional ear training. So that's being able to identify intervals. So if you go from C to E, you know that sound, you know that it's a major third, or C to E flat, you know that sound is a minor third, and that's really valuable, and that's more kind of traditional in my sense. Then there is music theory. If you understand music theory, there is intrinsically, you'll know the choices that you have on the neck, or the highly likely choices you get. It's a little bit like playing detective and deducing down what the possibilities are. Once you know what the possibilities are, it's far easier to make an educated choice rather. And the last one is knowing the shapes on the fingerboard and visualization. This is a really super important thing. Now, there was a point when I was coming up that I was kind of made to feel like playing using shapes on the neck was cheating, and I absolutely firmly don't believe it. The bass is a visual instrument, and we need to use this as much as possible. These visuals are absolutely essential. And when you start visualizing internally, when I'm playing the whole time, I'm thinking of shapes on the neck. I'm almost seeing them, and that starts to guide my fingers in on where to go. So I'm working with these shapes absolutely all the time, and I want to show you the benefit of working with shapes very shortly. So there's one quick caveat that I want to put in very firmly at this point. If you work on shapes alone, the chances are you will be hugely limited, because you don't have that more kind of peripheral or holistic understanding. So this only really works very well when you combine all three together. But I want you to know that this is a very valid way of improving your ear and understanding music theory and ear training, because ear training is all about being able to recognize sounds and patterns and then being able to replicate them on the bass. And however you choose to do that is totally cool. So what I want to do is take this track that we've been using in the 30-day killer rock bass action plan over at eBassGuitar and the Bass Lab Plus, and this is based on the Journey tune, Don't Stop Believing. So first of all, I'm going to play that to you so you know what that sounds like.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So there's a good chance you've heard that classic bass line before, and that is based entirely in the key of E major. So what I want to do is put E major up at the 7th fret like so, and work out and identify our key chords within this. The crucial thing is that the original bass line has quite a bit of movement and passing notes in there, which are amazing, but sometimes they can muddy the water, and the critical thing is to be able to hear those chord changes where the key notes are. So I want to go through these with you and show you where you can find them on the neck. So the first chord is chord 1, which is an E chord. Then our second chord is chord 5, which is a B chord. Our third chord is chord 6, which is a C sharp minor chord. And our fourth chord is an A. So we have this chord sequence 1, 5, 6, 4. And now this is an 8-bar pattern, and the chord sequence changes very, very slightly here. Then we have chord 1, chord 5, chord 3, and then chord 4. So 1, 5, 3, 4. So let me talk you through the whole sequence. 1, 5, 6, 4. 1, 5, 3, 4. Now the critical thing is I am imagining the shape of the neck of the pattern that is creating on the fingerboard in my mind here. So and then once I have that pattern firmly established in my mind, that's where I start adding the passing notes in. So what I want to do now is show you the practical application of this. So say your singer comes in and he says, I've got a bit of a sore throat, I just can't hit the high notes. And he goes, can we take this down a whole step? Sometimes this can be incredibly tricky for us bass players. But what we can do now that we have the shape firmly established in our mind is just shift everything back a whole step. This is the critical thing, is moving back there. And now this visionary thing, or when you're visualizing on the fingerboard rather, you can actually start to now pick out the notes very, very easily, because those shapes all fall directly under the hand. So we can go D, A, B minor, G. So that is our 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of D. And this is all 100% connected to the Nashville chord system, which we covered in a previous lesson a couple of weeks ago. So do check that out. But what I want, the really important thing is to show you how I am working with shapes now. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to artificially transpose this track down a tone now and play it in D, so you can see what that experience is like.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's a scenario where maybe you've got a singer which is struggling a little bit with their voice and wants it taken down a whole step. But let me give you another scenario here where you maybe want to swap a song from being a male vocal to a female vocal. Obviously, ladies have a slightly different vocal range and will normally want things up a little bit. So what I want to do is take Don't Stop Believing now and put it up a minor third from the key of E into G now. Again, I'm going to artificially transpose it here. So it's going to sound a little chipmunk, but it's going to demonstrate the application of this and how the shape that we've discovered is just the same, and how we can move these around the neck, and how the visualization really, really works in here and can start to lead your fingers to the right notes on the neck.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's a scenario where you would transpose up. But in reality, it doesn't matter where you're transposing from or to. It's the concept of actually how you do it. Learning these shapes really properly is all about connecting the ear, the mind, and the fingers together. And using your visualization techniques, for me, is a wonderful, wonderful way of doing it. So don't forget, everything that we've covered today is in the standard PDF notation and tab. And you can see all the shapes very clearly written out there. So make sure you download that because it will help this concept fall into place. So guys, that's the end of the lesson today. If you've enjoyed this lesson, please do give it a like and share. If you'd like all of the eBassGuitar lessons sent directly to your notifications, don't forget there's a little bell symbol on the YouTube app which you can select. Also, if you want to grab the free PDF which comes with this lesson, please do check out the description below, and please give us a like and share on social. Cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com.